My name's Audrey Sherman. I'm a division scientist at 3M in the Medical Solutions Division, and I've got about 35 plus years making sticky stuff. So if it sticks to anything, I've probably done it. And before I came to the medical division in 2016, I worked in consumer electronics. And so everyone in my old group said, oh my gosh, you're going to go to medical and now you're going to do wearables, which is the merger of electronics and stick to skin, which is exactly what I was excited to do. So it's so great to be here today to talk about the 4578, which is that first, line of this really long extended wear for this merger of electronics and people.
Thanks, Audrey. And my name's John Dugas. I'm our global business lead for basically any of our component materials that stick to skin or contact the body. We've got a complete portfolio of solutions of adhesives that are used for devices across the healthcare spectrum to touch the body, hold on to the body, from wearable sensors to materials used in surgical applications to even materials used in the pharmaceutical industry for contacting the body for transdermal patches. So I've got global business responsibility. I've been working in the medical industry for 25 plus years now in various roles, from R&D to processing, manufacturing, to working with patients and users. So broad spectrum and array of experiences in that area, and really happy today to talk about the 4578 and the newest skin adhesives from 3M.
So going straight into it, John, I had the pleasure of meeting you at one of the 3M Innovation Centers, and we went through numerous adhesives, and the 4578 was one of them. I was wondering if you can both give me the reasoning behind the creation of the 4578. Why did you bring it to market? That extended wear time, clearly needed, but what was the reason behind it?
First is the wear time. And we've been continuing to push the limits on that wear time, and actually have clinical studies in the 4578 on wear times up to 28 days. And there's a number of reasons we're pushing that wear time barrier out there and extending the adhesives. I mean, first and foremost, with healthcare in and of itself we have to continue to make it sustainable. And by extending the wear time of these adhesives, you're changing devices less, you're throwing less devices away on a daily basis. And so that's one aspect of it. But an even bigger aspect of it is patients and patient compliance overall. And what we're seeing in the market is the easier you can make the devices to use for the customers, the more the patients use them, the more patients comply with what the formulary or what they're asked by their physicians or doctors to do. And that's just so important. You have to be comfortable with the treatments that are going on, and the easier you can make it, instead of changing something every day, changing it every couple of weeks, makes it so much easier for the patient. Most tapes you have to store with a liner on. The 4578, you can store it in a clean environment without a liner, and the adhesion stays where it needs to be. And that's really unique for a tape, but it's really, really important for that patient experience, because it opens up a whole new world for the device designers and the medical companies themselves to design unique application methods where customers don't have to remove a liner when they go to apply the device. It avoids them potentially contaminating the device. It avoids someone who may be compromised from a motor skills standpoint of trying to remove a little liner and a little piece of a product before applying it to their body wherever they're doing it. So it just opens up a whole new world of application for the customer. And again, it's all about making that customer experience so much better. And that's why extending that wear time to 28 days and making a tape that you can actually use without having to have a liner stored on it 100% of the time until application opens up just a whole new world for the device companies and the consumer themselves. So those are a couple of reasons we really drove to add this property to our tape line.
Fantastic. And you pretty much covered a couple of the topics within the next question. Is what medical devices, what application is the 4578 intended for? And how can this benefit the end user particularly?
These really are healthcare devices. They're prescribed devices for people to be able to get a better understanding, their physician and the patient, of what's going on with their body. And the most popular one right now is the continuous blood glucose monitors. And what's interesting about continuous blood glucose monitors is I can tell this story from real life, my husband, and I see him struggling with fall offs and saying, it's only 4 days, it fell off early. I'll wait till my prescribed day to put a new one on. And then what do you do for those 4 days? You just, he wings it, it's just like, it's okay. It's only 4 days. So those devices are really critical for that compliance and to keep them on skin, particularly because they do an insertion into the skin. So we talk about on skin for the skin adhesive, but when devices are required to have an insertion, through that skin, it becomes even more critical for the compliance, and no slippage or movement at all tolerated.
Perfect. And I've actually got a little sample here of the 4578. First impressions, incredible product, great initial tack to skin. But obviously now you've got that extended wear time. How easy is it to remove 4578s after its full life cycle on the skin?
After the 28 days of wear, your skin is really ready to, give it up at that time. So in our clinical studies, I've actually observed our clinicians and removing them, and some of our subjects even say, "Oh, you're done. It's off." Because at 28 days, it's really an easy removal. We haven't had any issues with pain associated with that or anything like that. It's been on long enough, and your skin's really ready to just say, yeah, it's cool. Let's take it off.
John, we had the pleasure of sort of meeting you and your team, and we went through all the different types of adhesives and the best way to remove it for low trauma if need be, or over an extended period of time, how to remove it to reduce irritation to the skin, which I think is vitally important. Now, to say that I had worn the 4578 for 28 days, what are the levels of breathability does it have to prevent skin maceration?
We're doing this 2 ways, both the adhesive and that backing. So you'll notice that it's the non-woven type backing. And so we know that breathability, when the moisture comes up from the skin and hits that wearable device, obviously the device isn't a breathable area. So we knew that we needed to get it up off the skin and then out somehow. And so we do that with a combination of breathable backing and breathable adhesive to really prevent that skin maceration. And it's both from moisture coming from under the device, but now you're in a 28-day lifestyle. So you've got showers happening, you're going to get wet. And so it can go both ways. It can breathe out, and when it gets wet, it can dry out fast as well.
Now, what I kind of want to dive into is the conformability of the 4578. How flexible is it on the everyday use? Everyone has different application points. They have different intended outcomes, different positions within the body. How conformable is the 4578 for different body parts?
We have had so many people say, this adhesive grabs you. And that was by design as well. You're reaching body parts that, you might not have an easy access to. You get one shot at, getting it on there and stuck. And so we really wanted to design that into it. As we did that, the backing was important, that it still be conformable so that you allow that adhesive to grab you. So it doesn't do us much good if the adhesive's trying to grab you, but it can't go around that, circumference. So again, the play of the adhesive and the backing together to allow this thing to shape.
It's a system though. Like you said, it depends upon the device itself. And the closer we work together with like yourself and the end device company, because that, as you said, that device stiffness itself and where it's going on the body, everything needs to play together. And the tape is extremely flexible, but if we don't work together to work on, let's say, the housing design, as well as what part of the body it's on and working through it, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. And it's really, really important to understand the complete device design. We've made this tape as flexible as possible so you get that conformity and that grip, as Audrey said, but you have to integrate all of them together to make sure that your device works. And that's where relationships with both your manufacturer and your material supplier all working together are extremely important there.
Actually going to jump one ahead here because we're talking about the backing. Do you have any other adhesives that you recommend to adhere to the non-woven backing?
Yeah, no, we've got a number of different backings and adhesives. I would say the most popular one is our 1567 acrylate adhesive that goes on the back side, but it's going to depend upon, there's a lot of things that will stick to that spun lace nonwoven on the back side of it. But then you also have to look at what is the device that you're adhering to it and the performance that you need in bonding to that device. Is it a silicone material? Is it a rubber material? Is it an acrylate or whatever that puck or that top side device is used? And so it's going to be a combination. We've got a full suite of products, and then we can also manage and work across 3M if there's any additional adhesives in different areas that might make sense depending upon your specific material. So it's not a one size fits all. I can speak that 1567 is our most popular tape that's used in bonding those to the top side, but it's dependent upon that individual device.
Just to close it off, are there any other features, are there any other benefits of the 4578 that you'd like to talk about, make aware of?
Whether you're making the patient and the user take the liner off, or they just forget to take the liner off. I have seen that happen with my husband, and it's like fires it on, it didn't stick, and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, well, you got to pull the liner off. But it's just like, once it's out of the applicator, you're done. So I think linerless storage in an applicator is just super important for making it easy for everyone to use.
Think about a device being on your skin for 28 days and how your body's reacting to that. And we are very, very critical when it comes to the end of that 28 days when you remove the device from a skin safety standpoint. And we don't talk enough about it. But at the end of those 28 days, you really have to have no damage to the skin. You have to be at a point where that skin condition is good. And sometimes we overlook that. Okay, it stayed on for 28 days, but you don't really talk about, that's fine. You can make stuff stay on for 28 days, but when you take it off, if that skin is macerated, if that skin is irritated, it's not a good thing. And many of these devices have to go in similar areas and repeatedly be put in similar areas with these chronic diseases for life. And it's really important aspect of this product and any product we put out is that you've got that safety profile at the end. You've got to have that good skin condition overall. And I want to point that out. All the other benefits are great, but if we take it off at 28 days and your skin is not in good health, then we failed from that. And so I want to point it out that we don't talk much about it, but it's a huge benefit is that at the end of 28 days, pain scores, irritation scores, all of those scores, they're really non-existent, meaning you're in good shape with that.
It's a great product. We're loving it. We love working with it. How does the market get hold of it? Essentially,
there's two ways. Yes, they can contact 3M directly through the website or local representative. Findmyadhesive.com is something that we use to help customers select adhesives, but more importantly, through manufacturers that are helping with designs and converting companies like yourself. It's really important and can get through that route overall. The product itself is fully commercialized. So we're out there. It has our standard lead times and standard order quantities and things like that. It's fully commercialized. It's not an experimental product. It's out there in the marketplace. But the best route's either directly through us and we can help you inside sale, but more importantly through manufacturers and converters such as yourself that are helping people with the design of their product also. It can be purchased in small quantities to drive that forward, and we have plenty of samples available and commercialized product quantities available for those scale up activities as you're looking at this material.